Hi, Al. Jumping off our conversation from last week, we're going to talk about the guiding questions through our exercise, our Mission Impossible exercise. We put together some really good list of answers to these guiding questions. But I've went through and I've picked up a few of the ones that our group created and some that others did as well, and I've put them into this little Prezi here. Nothing fancy. Um, so let's start off with the first question here, and that was what can we do to give students more agency and ownership of what they learn? First and foremost, I think as an administrator or a teacher, you need to recognize that kids bring really, really talented skills and expertise to the classroom. They could easily teach you and teach the class as well. So that's something you need to be aware of. Human-centered design. That's something that I'm reading Tim Brown's book right now, and I've been working with John Nash in his design thinking and education uh, uh, class, EDU 300. And I think it's important that you can take some of those design thinking principles and apply them to the classroom and really get an understanding of who the student is and who the user is. And so you can take that idea of a human or user-centered design through curriculum, classroom space, or just the overall experience of the student, and that will help um, the teacher or the administrator to make the classroom or the school even that more authentic and meaningful. Something too to think about is, you can't always know exactly who those students are, or specific information about their overall experience in your class or in your school. So I think it's important that a school take internal research and internal surveys from their students to kind of learn about their experience. Now, moving on to the next question, what can we do to increase cognitive complexity of students' day-to-day work? I think that's something that's on the minds of all instructors. But first and foremost, I think with the advent of these new initiatives to put together new world-ready core curriculum is a step in the right direction to make curriculum that is going to make the student world ready and will have real world application. And beyond that, they need to be thinking about long-term problem solving, using college and career readiness benchmarks. That's not to mention with the long-term problem solving, we need to think about team-based learning exercises. A lot of people are naysayers about this advent of new technologies and software as a service and Web 2.0 tools and screen time and FaceTime and things like that, that students aren't getting time for real meaningful reflection. And I think that certainly can be achieved in a digital setting through journaling or blogging or vlogging or any of those exercises where a student is really kind of metacognitively connecting with the items that they're learning. So if they can easily reflect with all of these great tools that are out there, then you're going to have a more engaged student, and one that is going to have the ability to think at a metacognitive level. So now let's move on to the next question, and that is, what can we do to better incorporate digital technologies into students' deeper thinking and learning? And that goes into the learning, the authentic, relevant, meaningful, and powerful. I think first and foremost, the content needs to be relevant. It needs to be relevant. It needs to be relevant. It needs to be relevant, and also it needs to be current. With those two things said, I think that the tech or the content needs to be creatively layered on top of the subject content. And this all can't be done if the class or the school does not have open access or have the ability for a student to use some of these creative tools or some of these Web 2.0 tools and authoring tools and tools for sharing and connecting with others. Um, you know, Beyond that, we need to give them real world projects to work on. We're going to um, allow them to get online and have open access. We need to make sure that they understand that these things are not toys, they are tools for learning. And so those are the things that I think are important for that question. So what can we do to build internal capacity of both individual educators and school system of better learners and faster change agents? I think we had some really great ideas about teacher spotlights and smackdowns, bringing teachers into a room or administrators into a room and throwing out ideas and maybe adopting an idea in a really, really quick way. Something too that Stanford does is, and a lot of institutions do, is keep their policies or their papers rather and their research open for the public to see. Why couldn't a school district have their curriculum readily and easily accessible by the entire district? So if a teacher puts together some a really good lesson plan or a really good idea, that it can be shared with others across across other schools. Something too, going back to design thinking, I think it's important that teachers could have a design lab, a prototyping lab, and it can be something very simple and straightforward, where they could go in and develop an idea, and there'd be a design thinker in there that will help them get the idea into bring the idea to reality. We need to continue to encourage teachers and students to use PLNs across various platforms. We just got off reading Will Richardson's book, and Jeff Utecht just spoke to our class. So I think that's increasingly becoming a more important thing to consider. Also, going back to some big ideas by Tim Brown is big idea competitions. Put your school in running for a big idea that might change the course of the way you do things, or will help you maybe win a big grant or win a competition that could possibly get some attention to your organization. So that's all I got, and those are the 4 guiding questions, and we'll talk to you all soon. Thanks.